code on this. We have just discussed about the basic thing, how to create a table and how to insert the data. And also I have shared the script and I have updated the script more, and will also update the script in depth. Okay. See, today's interview, was related to SQL Server. They were asking about the top 15 salary drawn by the employee, or if they wanted to see top 10 salary drawn by the employees. So apart from this normal SQL queries, we have something called analytical SQL functions. Analytic functions that are available in SQL Server in almost all the SQL queries. For example, here's some dense rank. He was asking about the dense rank. Dense rank, I used it several times, means I was able to answer it correctly. Okay. So using dense rank, you can find out the top 10 or top N salary. So there are different options are available to find out the top 10. Simple thing is, even in Excel, you can do it. Like you can sort the salary in descending order. And then what you can do is you can take the top 10 from that. But what they need is, they just wanted to see the top 15th, the rank 15th rank salary. They want to see only the 15th rank salary. So in that kind of situation, how you can do that? Okay. So for that, we use dense rank. You remember, I have used rank function in Power BI. Okay, using which we can find out. Anyhow, we'll discuss about the analytic function. This is also very important. So, okay, these are all related to the text built-in functions. You can concatenate the strings. Okay, what is char 10? This is, some people, they say char, some they call it the char 10. 1 second, let me use recording, right? Yeah. So what will happen is, when you concatenate these two strings, and in between, if you spell it, this is nothing but space. It will leave space. Hello space world. Okay. And then you can, what you do is just take this one. I did not cover these things. These are all very basic things. Hence, I did not cover it. But anyhow, usually this is how we start with this. We'll first cover all the built-in functions and then we proceed. But here the idea is, our objective is, we want to do some kind of fast tracking. If you do some kind of fast tracking, we can focus on the advanced topics. That's the whole idea of this one. Okay. It's not that skipping the topic. We wanted to focus more on the advanced topic and the interview point of view. They asked about the top 10 salary, or rank, 10th rank salary, or 15th rank salary, any thing, any based on any given rank, it should give that specific rank salary. Okay. That is one question. The second question, they asked about difference between correlated query and subcorrelated. The correlated and non-correlated subqueries. Okay, and the next one is, he was asking about ETL. How good are you with the ETL? So which tool that you used it? Since I know everything, I know, even I suggested, he was asking about, hey, we could see that in your profile, Power BI is there, but you did not work in SQL. I told you my source system is an SQL server. Obviously, we need to use SQL queries, but we have a dedicated team. They do the extensive SQL coding from the source system. For example, in the case of Power BI, and we have the Power Query editor. In the Power Query editor, we can do the transformation, data transformation, but it has limitations in it. It has some limitations in it. Marimuthu, I'm talking about you only, okay? The interview thing. Okay, in the source system SQL query, the source system SQL query will get the Power Query editor will generate the SQL query and then push it to the source system. Source system in the sense SQL query. Listen very carefully, okay? The SQL server. The SQL server, that query will get executed. The output of the query will be sent back to your Power Query. The Power Query or Power BI. This is called query folding. But you cannot do all complex data transformation using Power Query editor. So in that case, SQL query will not generate it. So the rather what we do is we create the stored procedure wherein we implement the common logic. Okay, what is the, for example, the simple logic is you want to compute the net salary. Okay, for that you should be knowing the gross salary and then the earnings and deductions. Once you know the earnings, you can subtract the deductions from it in order to get the net salary. So this formula or the logic, you will use it in the stored procedure or stored function. Once you create this logic in a single stored procedure or function, you can reuse it as many times as you want it. Okay, so he was asking about the correlated and subcorrelated and what else, dense rank and the ETL part. Where did you do how did you do the ETL transfer, data transfer? Data transfer is, partially we did it in Power BI and partially they did it in SQL Server system. They wrote a SQL Server stored procedure in that. Okay, in SQL Server they wrote. So there they implemented all the complex business. For example, we want to join more than 3 or 4 tables, and then we need to left join, right join, and then some cases we need to do anti-join, and finally we need to do some kind of aggregation. All these things we do it everything in a single stored procedure. That's it. Okay, that stored procedure we will be calling it from the Power BI. Okay, so in the case of Power BI, what we simply we specify the stored procedure name and then we pass the arguments and the output of that query will be the result set of the query will be passed to your Power Query editor. The complex data transformation, for that purpose, we have used stored procedure in the SQL Server itself. This is how we need to tell, okay? So in the case of any other transformation they ask, can you tell me 3 or 4 data transformation which you did it? So we want to split the values from a text field. For example, the country name and state, both of them were stored in a single column. We want to split it. So in that case, we splitting the column and then a date format. Okay, so all those things. Anyhow, we'll discuss this in detail about it. Now we'll continue with let us focus on the SQL part. And first, this is the one. Okay, all of you, please open the query which I sent to you all in the WhatsApp, right? Yeah, so you just execute this one. Those of you have not received, please don't worry. Okay, you just watch me. Anyhow, at the end of the session, I will share it. Everything. Look here, a drop table, employee table. I'm going to create it from the scratch and insert into. These are the values. I'm going to execute this one. The data of 5 rows got insert. Select star from employee. Here I can see that the department 3, we have 82,000 and 46,000. What I do is intentionally, I'm going to say, what is ID? ID equal to 5. This is the employee ID. Eliana's employee ID is 5. I'm going to update her salary as 82,000. Now I just click on execute it and then select star from employee. That's it. So next one is we are going to discuss about so the other things and all, you just give it a try. Anyhow, I will send you one write-up this weekend, and for that you try all these assignments, okay? And once you can update employees. And the date functions, you can give it a try. Anyhow, I'm not going to mix so many things. Okay, we'll focus on the SQL part now. Okay, there are 3 types of query. So we know how to write a basic query. Yes, we can use null in where condition. Yes, right? Is null. We have something like is null. We can use is null. Okay, we'll write some basic the SQL queries. This is what we discussed. But don't worry. Okay, I will. Just because I wanted to fast track, I don't want to do that. Okay, until you become comfortable, we will do it. Okay, that's not a problem. So what I'm going to do is, we will write a basic SQL query. Like, so we know how to write a simple select statement. This is very interesting one, isn't it? So I'm going to just do this one here. So these followed by the select statement, you need to specify the column name that belong to this table. Make sure that you are following the proper naming convention, or the column name should be correctly typed here. And 1 second, I click on execute. That's all. It's working fine, right? It is returning all the values. This is how we can write. So for example, if you want to subset the data, where this table has how many number? 5 records are there. For example, salary is greater than 5,000, sorry, 50,000. And I'm going to select everything and press F5. Look here, only these 4 guys salaries are more than 50,000. Okay. And what else we have here? And so this is the basic SQL queries, but in the real time scenario, we'll be using more than one table. Where is the department table? The department table is missing here. 1 second. Let me just pick up from my script. This is the one, departments. You can also try it out side by side, no? So here, what I'm going to do is follow this. Now we know how to write a query against a single table. I'm going to create another table called department table. Look here, it got executed. Select these things simply. Click on execute. 3 rows got affected. Now what you do is select star from department. So 3 departments are there. Okay. Now I just want to combine these 2 tables. Which tables? The employee table and departments table. I want to combine it. How can I combine that? See here, the department name is there. Whereas in the case of employee table, wait. Select star from employee, and then I copied it. I just put it here, and then I just type go here, so that both queries output, you can see it in the results section. Okay. I just click on execute. Look here. If you lift this up, you can see the first one is related to employee and second one is related to departments. But can you see department name here? No. Only the department ID is there. Here department ID is there. Do you remember in Power BI model view, when I click on the line, the link, it will open up a dialog box wherein you can see the table name, department. What are the columns that are common here, we'll select it, right? Yeah, right. So we select this one, and then it will get linked in the case of Power BI. But here we need to specify the common column in the where condition explicitly. If you want to query the values from these 2 tables, for example, your manager wants name and department name. Along with that, he wants to see the salary. Okay, so in that case, you need to join these 2 tables because all the information not available in a single table. What I'm going to do is now I just select name from employee. Employee, departments. D. And here I just say where E dot, what is the common column? Department ID. E dot department ID is equivalent to D dot department ID. Because the department ID is common between these 2 tables. So I need to join, these 2 tables common columns in order to query the data from these 2 tables. And here the salary. So now what I do is I just submit all these 3 queries in a single batch. so that we can compare the output of all these three queries in here, right? So the first one is employee, and second one is the departments, and third one is this query. So here, 1, 2, 3, these are the department ID, the unique department IDs. And the for one is accounts, department ID 1 is nothing but the accounts, the 2 is finance, and third is payroll. And okay, so now what happened? This guy is Stephen, he belongs to payroll. Look here, it is showing. So see Stephen, see against Stephen, the department it is 3, and the corresponding department name for department ID 3 is payroll, right? So Stephen payroll, and similarly you can see, so it is doing that perfectly. It is doing a perfect job. If you don't use the join condition here, if you don't use this, what will happen? It will perform cross join. The interview, they'll ask you what is cross join. If you don't specify, if they ask you why you need to use where clause to join a table. To join two or more than 2 tables, we need to specify the common column between the two, 2 or more than 2 tables in the where clause. Otherwise, what will happen? It will produce a Cartesian product. The Cartesian product. You remember, right? Stephen 82,000 and Amelie accounts. So actually, it's doing the Cartesian product. Mm. See, in table A, you have ABC, and table B, you have 1, 2, 3. So Cartesian product, what will have is for each value in the first table, it will match with every other value in the second table. That is what your Cartesian product. So in table A, B, C, this is available in your table A, okay? This is in table X and table Y. In table Y, you have 1, 2, 3. So if you don't specify the where condition here, what will happen is this one will map with this one, and this one will map with this one. And then, so, sorry, and this one will get mapped this one and 3. So 3 into 3 to the power 3, right? So, no, 3 cross 3. 9 possible combination. If you have millions of records, you're gone. Okay. So Cartesian product is not preferred one. There are situations we do some cross join that we will discuss at a later point in time. In fact, I discussed that as part of Power BI joins. And I will discuss it later with some example. So now you understood how we can query the data from more than one table. In order to query the data from more than one table, you need to know the common column. If you don't have the common column between the tables, you cannot join it. Tulasi, are you there? Tulasi is not there. They ask something like disconnect table in Power BI. Disconnect table, I'm not going to discuss it because when I started talking about this one. Okay, leave it. So now we will go step by step. And the next one is there are 3 types of query in general. Okay, the one is the subquery, scalar subquery, and the other one is the multi-scalar subquery, and then you have something else called the correlated subquery. This is what they asked. What is the difference between subquery and correlated subquery? Okay, and now we will take a look at what exactly the scalar subquery. Supposing your manager wants you to find out the employees whose salary is greater than the average salary of all employees. Either you can use it command, multi-line command, you need to specify like this. So let's say this is the business question. Okay, so they want you to find out employees whose salary is greater than the average salary of all employees. Okay, so in this case, what you can do is, see, I told you there are three types of queries. One is this scalar subquery. Other one is the multi-scalar subquery. The next one is the correlated subquery. But if you go for any Power, say, SQL query interview, this is a common question. What is the difference between subquery and correlated subquery? Apart from this, I'm going to cover multi-scalar subquery also. So in this case, what is the business can find out employees whose salary is greater than average salary of all employees. Data is available. We need to write a query to fetch this one. So in this case, what I am going to do is I'm going to use, in the interest of time, look here. I already wrote this query here. Select average job from employee. Okay, here I already put it here. I just copy paste. Let's create it a neat thing so that you can refer it to a little point in time. This is your subquery in this case. This is called your subquery. In the where class, you will specify another query where salary is greater than select average salary from employee. So in this case, the subquery in your where class, it filters the result set based on the salary. Okay, based on the salary. So based on this salary, it filters out the result set. So this subquery returns a single value because we are using the aggregation function average. So in this case, what happens is, first step is it will execute the subquery, and then it returns the average salary of all employees. Okay, independently. It takes the average of all the employees. For example, the average is 53,000 or something like that. Okay, so here what will happen? The 53,000 where salary is more than 53,000. Display the employee whose salary is more than the average salary. Okay, more than the average salary of all employees. Okay, and second, what happens? The database system, right? It needs to evaluate the subquery only once. In this case, it evaluates the subquery only once, and then it executes the subquery first. It executes the subquery first, and then it evaluates the subquery only once. This is very important. And then what happens? This is called your inner query. This is called your outer query. Okay, the outer query, what happens is it makes use of the result produced from the subquery. In simple term, the subquery, the result set of your subquery drives your outer query. That is what your scalar subquery, the first one. Okay, now what we can see here is, for example, if you can individually, if you query it, what is the average salary? 58,600. If I select only this up to this, and if I execute this one, what happens? 58,000. Anything, the salary, anything above 58,000. How many of them are there? Only two records, right? 82,000, 82,000. And if I select, what happens is the 58,000 will get substituted, the average. 58,600 will get substituted. And then anything above 58,600 will get displayed. So this one answers your question, business question. They will basically give you the business questions like this. You need to convert this business requirement into a technical requirement. You need to convert this into SQL query. So the next one is this is your scalar subquery. What is scalar? Scalar means single. So this one returns a single value, right? Scalar, this subquery returns single value. Okay, fine. So the next one is what else? Multi-row subqueries. Multi-row subquery. Okay. The multi-row subqueries. In that case, what happens is it returns one column with multiple rows. Okay, for example, I'm going to give you another example. In this case, I'm going to use a in class here. So in this case, what happens? The employee ID, right? Employee ID in your in this case, what happens is the subquery returns more than one value, right? Matching to the employee ID in line with your outer query. It for each and every row of your subquery will get matched with your outer query, and then the value will get generated. Okay, good. So in class, using in class, you can perform multi-row subquery. You can do multi-row subquery. So in this case, more than one. So here I told you in this subquery, you can return only one value. In the case of scalar subquery, whereas in the case of multi-row subquery, using in class, you can return. I think we have something else called all is also there. All or any, I don't know. In all is not available. Okay, let me just give it a try. In other language, it is available. Yeah, it is syntax error. All, any, and all we use it, but anyhow, in this case, it is not available. Okay, this is an example for your multi-row scalar query, subquery. Okay, multi-row query. Next one is the correlated subquery. This is very important. What is correlated subquery? Correlated subquery is a subquery. It uses the value of the outer query. Okay, I just write the another query. Yeah, this is the one. In this case, if you look closer here, look here, this one's, and this query is somewhat similar up to this. Okay, and whereas if you look at here, the department ID from this table is matched with the department ID from the outer query. This is your inner query, this is your outer query. Okay, so in this case, the correlated subquery, right, it uses the values from the outer query. Look here in the var class. See here, employees space O. What is this? You can give a meaningful name here. Okay, the alias for the employee table. Instead of typing employee table every time, if I don't give this alias, what will happen? Employee, I need to type it. Simply give some short name E so that you can simply type E here. The department ID in this table, and then the department ID in the same table. But in the subquery, what we are doing is we are computing the average. But what we are doing is in this case, this is called your correlate because the subquery is correlated. Look here, correlated with the outer query. For each and every row, in this case, right, the correlated subquery will be evaluated once for each row selected by the outer query. For example, your employee ID is 100, and then what it goes is, it goes and check whether your salary is greater than the average salary of that department. Okay, here, what is the idea of this one? What is the business question here? The objective in this case is to find all employees whose salary is above average for their department, within their department. Okay, how many departments are there? I just query that one now. See, in this table, the employee table 1, 2, 3, these are the department IDs are there. Within each department, for example, in the department ID 2, how many employees are there? How many employees are there? Soumya or anybody else? How many departments are Indu, Srilata? How many of them are Sushmita? How many employees are there working in department ID 2? 2, very good, Abhinaya. Right. So in department 2, no, not 3, Soumya. Listen my question very carefully. Department ID 2, in department ID 2, how many employees are there? Only 2, right? Emily and Marco. Okay. Within this department, right, who is getting above average salary? But in this case, Marco and Emily, 52,000, 52,000. If you add these two things and divide by 2, the average is 52,000 only. So in this department, the average salary is 52,000, but none of them are getting more than 52,000 salary in this department. But if you see the department 3, how many employees are there? 2 employees are there. Stefan and Eliana. These 2 employees are there. One second. One second. I'm busy. I'll call you back. Short plan. Okay. Okay, here what happens is the department ID. Yeah, this is what I was saying. In each department, we want to find out, those employees' salaries above average salary. So here I can see 82,000, 80,000, 50,000, 50,000. But in this case, in this department, only one guy, is there, 25,000. If you take an average, it'll be 25,000 only, but anything above 25,000, we need to find out, but we don't have the data here. So what we need to do, see, these are in the case of testing, it is not only writing the query is sufficient, writing a script is sufficient. You need to write some test cases. You need to create some test data. So in this case, what I'm doing is, Marco belongs to which department ID? All of you please type it in the channel. Let me make sure that all of you are concentrating here. Marco belongs to which department? Finance. Yeah, finance and yes, right. So Marco belongs to finance. In this case, what I'm doing is I'm going to change the salary as 63,000. What is the current average salary of the department 2? All of you type it in the chat window. What is the average salary of department ID 2? Make it fast. Make it fast. 63,000, 6,300. No. Average salary of department number 2, madam. 52,000, 52,000, 52. These two add it and divide it by 2. Please concentrate here, okay? And if you divide it by 2, what will happen? You'll get the 52,000 only, right? Am I correct? Yeah, maybe typo, right? Yeah, correct. 52,000. So department ID 2, salaries, average salaries 52,000 plus 50,000 divided by 2. I'm talking about department ID 2's average salary, 52,000. But what I'm doing is, in this case, this query will not return any value. Look here, if I execute this one, this query is not returning any value. So what is the cost for this? 78,000. Madam, again, it's wrong. See, one second here. Okay, don't worry. Okay, I'll just exit. So probably you did not notice it. Soumya, look here. So you need to look at only this place. One second. I just pointed here. Department ID 2 and department ID 2. In this case, what is the average salary? This salary for, this guy Marco's salary is 52,000. Amelie's salary is 52,000. So if I ask you to take the average, what you do? This one and this one, you add it and divide it by 2. So 52,000, 52,000, if I divide it by 2, there's 52,000 only, right? Okay. So, but can you see anything above 52,000 salary in department 2? No. That is what they need. Are you able to understand or not? Yeah. Typo, right? Okay, fine. Are you able to understand? So this business, this is how in real-time scenario, the questions will be, it's a brainy job. Okay. They'll ask you questions. You will not be able to understand the questions, but on top, they expect us to do it. Okay, fine here. So here what I do is to test this scenario, because we don't have the data. We have some data problem. I'm going to, in the net, they will not teach all these things. Okay, listen here. So now what I did, I just selected this. Look here. Marco belongs to department 2. Now I'm going to check the query again. What is our query? Sorry, from employee. Okay. Here I need to select, right? Look here. In Marco belongs to department 2. So in the department 2 now, the 52,000 was overwritten by 63,000. I updated this value in order for this query to produce some output for demonstration purpose. In this case, what happened? 52,000 plus 63,000 divided by 2, how much value you are getting it average? 1,10,000 and 1,13,000, 1,15,000, right? Divided by 57,500. Yeah. So 57,500 almost, right? So anything above 57,500 is there in department 2? Yes, that is what 63,000. So in this case, what happens? It returns 63,000. Got it? If you don't get very good abneyos, right? If you don't get any output, don't think something wrong with your query. Sometimes your query logic is correct, data problem will be there. This is what we are breaking our head in the real-time scenario. Sometimes the customer will say data was wrong. Sometimes they say the logic was wrong. You need to be very confident. Otherwise, your life will be in soup. Got it. I just put some. I changed the data and then I showed you how to do this one. So this is what your correlated subquery. In the interview, they ask you what is the difference between the correlated subquery and the plain subquery or non-correlated subquery. This is your non-correlated subquery. We are not using any value from the outer query, isn't it? Whereas in this case, we are using the department ID from the outer query. For each and every row of your outer query, the subquery will get executed once. Okay, whereas in this case, the subquery will get executed only once. Okay. In this case, what happens? The outer query uses the result set produced by the subquery. The subquery will get executed only once, whereas in this case, the subquery will get executed for each and every row of your outer query. That is the difference between these two. What is that? Abhinay asked, could you please repeat multi-row subquery? Multi-row subquery, yes. See, in this case, what happened? Multi-row subquery, what happens is here, where ID in. There is something called in class. So I wanted to find out the employees, whose name appear more than one time, something like that. Okay. For example, not, okay, here will be like this. Okay. So in this case, what happens is, can you tell me what is the output of this one? I just select only this one and then click on execute. Look here, ID, employee ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This subquery returns multiple value. Whereas if I execute only this subquery, what happens? It will return only one value. But here, I cannot execute this one alone because here this column is coming from outer query. So even in this case, what happens, right? For each and every row of your outer query, this subquery will get executed. For every time, this one will get executed matching to each and every row of this one. Are you okay with this? This is what your correlated subquery. This is the difference between correlated subquery and this one, okay? And the next one is, okay, we are done with this. And next one is, we'll go to the file here. And then foreign key constraint, I somehow missed out. You can give it a try. Okay, so we have created the department table now, right? So in this case, what happens is, this is syntax, add alter table name, add constraint. You give some name, foreign key of which table? Foreign key of your departments table. Department ID references employee ID. No, there's something wrong here. No. Here, yeah, find something foreign case. See, in your employee table, there's something like this. Let's say you have the departments table. The departments table, okay, here ideally it should be something like this. Employee table. The employee table, you have the department ID, isn't it? So in this department ID column, the data for this column comes from your department table. Departments table. You understood that is what this one is doing it. Are you able to understand or not? I'll just write it one more time quickly. So these are the very fundamental thing. So you have the employee table and you have the department table. I have shown you, right? Here you have the department name is there, department name, and then you have the department number is there. Here you have the employee ID and e-name and depart number. Okay. Here what happens is the department number, we need to join, we need to use this common column between these two tables. Because why? Because I wanted to know the employee name. I want to print the employee name from this table. I need to take the e name from this table and I need to take the d name from department name from this table, because these two columns are two different tables. So what happens is we are creating the foreign key constraint, where in the case of employee table for the department number, the values for the department number are, is coming from this table. Any value that are there in the department table's department number, only those value needs to be used in your employee table. Anything other than 1, 2, 3, if you use it, you can use it. But if once you create the constraint, it will make sure that it will not allow, this is called your referential integrity. Referential integrity. Let's see in the employee table, employee ID, employee name, depart number 100. But this 100 is not there. You are trying to insert it. But 100 will go. But end of the day, when your manager wants department name, so when you use these two columns, department number from this table and department number from this table to join this table, since you don't have the 100 here, that you will not get the department name. Okay. For that, what we are doing is we are creating a constraint, in the employee tables department number column, so that what will happen is whatever values that are there in this department tables department number column, only that value are allowed to enter inside. From the referential integrity point of view, and also to create the relation between these two tables, we use this, we create the foreign key constraint. So look here in the foreign key, department ID in the employee table. In the employee table, the department number is the foreign key, and then it references department tables department ID, right? Department ID. This is how we created. So this is how we usually create the foreign key constraint. Okay, it's very simple, but this is the DBA's job. That's what in the interview you should be knowing how to handle anything related to table creation, anything related to the folder release management. You can tell them it is the job of the database administrator. We don't do it, but still we create the script. These scripts and all you are supposed to create it, but again they will make changes to the script and then they will do they will include their own thing. Okay. Fine. So, and okay, you know how to insert the records into tables, right? Multiple records. So insert into table name and values, and then you specify. Make sure that in your table, let's say you have 6 columns, all the 6 columns you specify the value. Supposing you don't know this value, you put null, null. Okay, so that this column will have null value. But don't, just because you don't have this value, don't remove this one, and don't try to insert less number of values for the less number of columns. Okay, let's say you have 6 columns are there, but when you try to insert only 5 column values, it will throw an error. Since you have 6 columns, when you insert it, your insert statement should have values for the 6 columns. If you don't have it, don't remove it. Instead, you put null here. Okay, this is how you can insert, and then insert multiple records in a specific columns. Okay, this is for inserting the values in the entire table. No, I don't want to insert the values for the entire table. I want to insert the values only for these 2 columns. Okay, insert into employee first name, last name, and values, this one. And next one is the create view. Okay, how do I create view? What is a view? First of all, view is a pointer to your table. View is a pointer to a table. Okay. For example, I just go and show you very simple one. Even in the view, you can use the correlated subquery or scalar subquery. You can use it. For example, I'm going to use this one here. Let's say you have created a query, something like this. So you have created a view. Create view name as, followed by that, you need to specify your query. So in this case, we are using a single table or 2 tables. In real time scenario, we'll be using multiple tables also. Look here, commands completed successfully. Now a view got created. So now if you want to select this view, select view underscore emp. Each time you don't have to select star from, even to query the data from your view, you need to use select star or select the column names. Got it? So this time I just query this view only. So view is kind of a pointer to your query. That's all. Okay, pointer to your table. Or and the next question is, can I insert the value into a, can I insert? Can I do that? Yes, it is possible. Can I delete the values? Can I insert, delete? This I will leave it to you as an assignment. But if I say assignment, don't take it for granted. You practice this one. Okay, how do I, same thing, insert into, I have shown here, right? Insert into, instead of employee, you use vw.emp, and then you need to use this one. Okay, can we, Abhinay ask, can you update or alter the record in employee table if it has a foreign key constraint? You can update your employee table, but to make sure that the column for the foreign key, right? The while values for your foreign key column, you need to specify the correct value. You can, in that case, you can update the values. Okay, you can modify the values in your table. See, first, you just understand what is foreign key, what is primary key, and then you have something called unique key. So unique key, unique constraint. You can use a unique constraint to create it. So unique constraint and primary key constraints, both of them are same, primary key columns. In both the cases, we can store only the unique values. You cannot store the duplicate values. Whereas in the case of unique constraint, in addition, right, even the unique constraint, you can create you can store only the unique values, but in addition to that, you can store a null value. That's all. This is the difference between unique constraint and primary key constraint. Check constraint, you know very well, and not null constraint we discussed about, and then we discussed about foreign key constraint. Somehow I missed out the important thing, foreign key constraint. The last session, that's why I covered it. Okay, next one is we covered all these things, the subquery, everything, and the next, what is it? Similarly, in the update also, you can use the subqueries. Look here, correlated subquery. Update consultant set salary is equivalent to this one. It's very interesting one. I don't know why you people are not, sitting together and start, trying this one. Very interesting one. So this is use a calculator. So in the case of update, you can perform arithmetic operation, expression. You can use it. In the case of update, you can use a correlated subquery. Okay, you can use a plain scalar subquery also. And the next one is group by. Group by we already discussed in the case of Power Query Editor as well as this one. And that guy, it seems he never worked in Power BI. Today, that interviewer. In this case, you will be in a better position. If you know the SQL also very well, select star from employees painful here. Already it is 10 o'clock. FI. Say yeah, department ID, right? So you need to select the department ID. What is count function? Count function is nothing but your aggregation function like average, sum, min, max. Here what I'm doing is I want to know how many number of employees are there in each department. In that case, what I did here is select department ID wise, right? Each department count, use the count function on the employee ID because we want to see the number of employees, right? Followed with as and then the alias. Give some meaningful name for this column name. Okay, the department ID, you have 1, 2, 3, but in the department 2, we have 2 employees. In department 3, we have 2 employees. Okay, in each department, how many number of employees are there? This is what they wanted to know. This is what you will group by. Okay, this we have done it. Group by understood. And then next one is the, having count of star, having clause. What is having clause here? Arvind, என்னாச்சு தூங்கிட்டீங்களா? See here, department ID, count of employee ID from employee, group by department ID. So up to group by, you know very well, right? And having count of this one. Okay, so how many of you remember the group by which I covered in the last session? You remember I explained to you about this. I just quickly do this one. Keeping it in upside down. Okay, you have something like north, south region, and east region, and south region. Like here you have 10K and 20K and 30K and 10K and 20K. If they want you to find out group by on the region column, so what will happen? North 2 times are there. It will aggregate this in a single record and then it will add these 2 values. It will group the rows that are having the similar values in the case of group by. So in this case, the group by is department ID, right? In each department, in one, count total number of employees. In department number 2, can you tell me how many number of employees are working? In the case of department 3, how many number of employees are working on it? So in this case, the same thing. The north, south, and east, only these 3 values will be there. So 10, 20, 30, and south is 30 plus 20, 50, and east is 10. Aggregation. So you can use sum also here, but in this case, ID, if you do sum, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. Count, we can use it. This one. So count function, with that, you can find out the number of occurrences of values in the column. Oh, okay, no problem, Arvind. And then the next one is, yeah, the having. This is very important. So I just simply do this one. There are situations what will happen is, you know very well the var class. Using var class, we can take only the subset of the data from your entire table. Okay, you don't need the entire table data based on some condition. What condition? In var class is where region equal to north. So in that case, instead of taking the entire table data, let's say in your real time, you don't think, so real time, see, I went to bed by 4 a.m. today. The volume of the day is very, very, very huge. Okay. From employee. And here we use where clause, where, for example, salary is greater than 5,000, 50,000. Okay. If you select this, it will give you the subset of the data, right? Those employees are drawing more than 50,000, only selected. Is there any way I can apply the filtering condition after doing the grouping? Look here, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say having, there is something called having class, having, what is that? Having count of ID, ID, greater than 1. Sorry, here, look here, I put semicolon here. I just remove it. It's working fine. And now what I'm doing is, tell me the department where the number of employees are more than 1. Look here, having count of ID is greater than 1. ID is employee ID, right? So count the number of employees, and if they are more than, so in this case, we have only one record, only one employee is there, but we are interested in seeing more than one employee. So you are applying a condition on the grouped values. See, these are the grouped values. On top of this, using having clause, we are applying the condition. So if I click on the execute, what happens? Look here. Only in these two departments, more than one employees are working. Am I correct? Got it. That's all. The next one is, next one is the stored procedure. Yes, we will start with a simple stored procedure. Okay. So what is a stored? In the interview, they'll ask you, have you created any stored procedure? Just knowing these commands are not sufficient. You should be knowing how to create stored procedure, because this is very important. This is where we implement the common logic. Okay. So once you implement for example, you want to find out the net salary. First, you need to find out the earnings, and then you need to compute the deductions, subtract the deductions from your earnings in order to get this is your business logic, right? You need to implement that here. Once you implement, that's all. Simply you call the procedure for each and every employee, right? It will automatically compute the net salary. So now what I'm going to do, for the sake of simplicity, this is the syntax: create procedure, procedure name, as this is important. This is syntax, okay? And begin, end. The body of your procedure should start with begin and end. So, sorry, between the begin and end, you need to specify your body. This is where we write the SQL queries and other things, okay? But look here, in this case, not only SQL queries, the insert into, update, everything, you'll write it here. Let us start with creating a simple stored procedure. This is called stored procedure. The syntax is create procedure. You can give whatever name you want it as begin end. Inside the begin end, you need to specify your body. Select what you wanted. So I just copy this one, and then I just go ahead and click on it here. And here what I do is I'll execute it here. Invalid column name, right? So here what I do is, I use ID. Yeah, I just use something like salary. My stored procedure got created. Look here, commands completed successfully. In case of any error, it will display, it will throw an error. You need to fix it. So in this case, it is working fine. And now the question is, how do I call this stored procedure? You need to use exec this one. That's all. So this is your stored procedure name. If you want to execute this, body of this procedure, you need to use exec command. Exec your stored procedure name. What is my stored? This is what my stored procedure name. That's all. So when I execute this one, what happens is inside this body, whatever is there, it will get executed. This query gets executed. It produces the output here. Okay. And next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another one here. This is the sample one. I took it here. Let me do one thing. So we can use for the update, insert, everything. So we will use for, we can create this one here. Another stored procedure. Here what I do is I just create the variable. Okay, first you need to declare the variable name. Here I just say name at. How do I define a variable in SQL Server? You need to prefix the variable name by at symbol. And then you need to type the variable name. Followed by the variable name, you need to specify the data type. That's all. So here, and next one is the, that's all. We don't need anything else. For demonstration purpose, I just use the salary. That's all. Okay, insert to this one, the name. And salary values. Okay, thank God, no error. Good. So the next one is, how do I execute? See, in this case, we have simply executed the stored procedure. We did not pass any value. There is no use of this one, right? So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to exec the stored procedure name followed by the, I want to use it, right? Once you create a stored procedure, you need to use it. If you don't use it, what is the purpose of creating the stored procedure? Yes, this one. And then the next one is, I need to pass the value here. For example, name. And here what I do is I just say name is equivalent to Swati. At name, right? At name. Yeah, at name Swati. And last name, I'm not going to use it. And then my salary is 30,000. That's all, guys. Here, what we are doing is, very well, to use this stored procedure, you need to prefix that with exe. So only then this procedure will get executed. Executing the stored procedure alone not sufficient. We need to pass the values to this one. So when I look here, at name is the argument, right? Parameter. So for this, I assign Swati. So now what we are saying is, hey, compute the net salary or insert the Swati's salary into the employee table. Okay, ideally here I need to specify the ID also here. Employee ID. Without ID doesn't make any sense. ID is what is that? What is the data type? That one. So how do you check the data type? One second, sir. Hello. Yeah, I'm still in a meeting. Okay, I'll call you by 11. I told you, no? Okay. SP help employee table. This one will give you the structure of the table. See, either you can go and click on it here. Okay, for example, if you want to see the columns that are part of this employee table, you just can see, right? And instead, what I do is a command line, sp_help, followed by, so they'll ask you, how do you see the table structure, right? So don't say I just click on it. There is something sp help. This is also another stored procedure, but this is built-in stored procedure. So this has been written by Microsoft. Followed by that, you specify the table name. What it does is it gives the structure of it, the column name, the data type, the link, everything it will give you. Okay. So now why I did it? I just want to see the data type of ID is int, right? And I just say here the ID is int. Hello. Hello, hello. Okay, can you? Yeah, that is one. So ID, name, salary, and here the values, I just say ID. So we are going to make it very dynamic. Okay. Here I just say dynamic, and here click on execute. Okay, already this stored procedure exists. So what I am going to do is I am going to alter this stored procedure. We have something called alter procedure. Yeah. So now what I am going to do is instead of this one, now you understood how to create a stored procedure, how to modify the stored procedure, alter procedure, procedure name. And then what I'm going to do is I just click on this one, click on execute. That's it. Now what I do is I just go and say at ID is equivalent to, we can give 10, right? We can give some value and comma. And I select everything here. And I just, including this, I'm going to click on it. Okay, execute it. Look here, depends on the missing object. The model will be still be created and completion. Now what we will do is we'll go and select the table. Okay, where is the select star from employee table? I just click on it, execute. That row was not gotten set. So select star from employee. Okay, and ID and the name, salary. Okay. So here we need to specify null or something like that. Okay, but insert into, it should work. Insert into table name, ID, comma, name, comma, salary, right? So let me just see that. Cannot find stored procedure. Okay, some confusion. What we will do is we'll drop the stored procedure, drop procedure, and the procedure name is this one. So how to modify procedure and how to drop a stored procedure. Drop the stored procedure and then we will create it now from the scratch. Create procedure. So you want to insert a new employee's data into a table. The must be the first statement in query batch. Okay. Create. Okay. Oh, okay. Some confusion are happening. We'll go step by step. We just create the stored procedure. Yes, done. And then I'm going to select this one, execute this one. I don't know why it is DBO. Okay, I just remove the DBO here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I just go here and then see in which one the procedure got created. what I will do is I just, click on the refresh button here. And then just in this database, let me just check the tables and views. So we created one views. You can check it out here also, the view name. Yeah, view W, this one, and then the synonyms and storage security. And here, right click on it. Oh yeah, stored procedure will come where? Yes, server objects, triggers. Okay, and management, replication. Okay, here, tables, views, external resources. Yeah, programmability, you have the stored procedures. And we'll go and check if this is available here. Yeah, dbu.up insert employee is there, right? Employee details. Look here, this one is not available. What I'm going to do is I just say explicitly use sales. And the next line, I just go and say, I try to go here. So what I'm saying here is, hey, open this sales database. In this database, you drop this one. If I do this one, what happens? Yeah, and drop stored procedure. Let's see if drop the because it does not exist. Okay, we'll create it from the scratch. We'll see what happens. Okay, now it got created successfully, and I just go and execute this one. Could not find stored procedure of USB insert employee details. Okay, DBO. I'll just give it DBO, right? Exact. It has details. What is it? Exact details, right? Yeah, it's correct only, right? Detail. Oh, details, right? Employee details. No, yeah, DBO dot. Let me just give DBO dot. There is no details in procedure. Oh, sorry. Very good, very good, very good. So, other thanks, Abhinaya. Good catch. Excellent. Thank you for coming for my rescue. Good, right? So the procedure name was wrong. Okay, we have created with some name and then we executed with some other name. Okay, now what happened? We need to go and check the table whether this new Swati record got inserted in the table or not. So what we do is I just go and check select start from employee, click on execute. Look here, Swati value got it because gender and department ID we did not use any value, and it is putting the null value. Instead of using the insert, now you might be asking, okay, so can't I use insert statement? Insert, see, once you create it, see, in this case, we have already 3 columns. Let's say you have 25 columns are there, right? So in that case, what you need to do is insert into, for each and every row, you type insert, or you need to copy paste it. You don't have to do it, right? So here, what you do is you simply, you can pass this an argument. Even for this, what we do is we can use some for loop or something like that. So that exec and for loop for each and every value will get, passed as an argument to this one after another, and it will get executed. Okay, all the values stored procedure. You can use insert into, but in the complex scenario, we'll be joining multiple tables, and then we will check, if the values are that. Yeah, they have asked something called the SCD type, slowly changing dimension type. This is the right time when it comes to stored procedure. We'll be loading the data into slowly changing dimension tables. Slowly changing dimensions. He has asked me this question since I'm experienced. See, in the interview questions will be very dynamic. Out of the box, they will ask you. It's not like exam thing, okay? Slowly changing dimensions. They asked the types of slowly changing dimensions, types of slowly SCD. Okay, so you have something called type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Okay, type 3 up to type 3, if you say that is enough. Okay, and what is type 1? It will simply override the value. For example, you have dim customer table. Listen very carefully. No one will teach you. Okay, and dim customer, here you have the surrogate cust key, right? Cust key, and then cust name. You have something called customer name is available here. C name is available, and then here, you have address detail, address 1, address 2, comma, city, and state. So in this case, what happens? Let's know your customer address. Let's know there is Nilesh. Nilesh, are you there? He is not there. What about Nilesh? He did not join. Okay, Marimuthu is there. Okay, right. So Marimuthu's customer key is 100, and his name is Marimuthu. Is address 1, address 2, city, and state. Everything is there. Dimension customer table. All the dimensions, right? Most of the time, it will have only the unique values in it. Customer key, for example, his customer key is 100, and his name is Marimuthu, and his address. Okay, his address, something like that. Okay, SDG, something like that, and then something like that. Okay, city and all. So not say each customer, right? They, in the case of bank, they have to maintain the history of the customer's location. How many number of locations they migrated over a period. In US, it is there is something called Abhinay. You remember there's some policy, right? In USA, they made it very mandatory. Okay, the SOX or something, I don't know, SOX compliance, something like that. So the what happened, US government, they made it mandatory. Each and every customer's address, previous address, everything should be maintained. So there is no necessity that, it is not always practical that Marimuthu should live only in this address, right? So later point in time will be, so let's say currently he is in Hosur, and he will be in Tamil Nadu. It is in Tamil Nadu, okay. And later point he moved to Bangalore. Okay. So in that case, what will happen is, we have something called customer number. It's not like you have the customer key first. Okay, cust key is a surrogate key, primary key. And for him, see, if you just think I don't have customer key, customer name column 100, duplicate, right? This is a primary key column. It should not have the duplicate values in it. So the way out is we are introducing another column called customer key. So here I put the same guy, right? So 1, 100, and then 2, 100. So this is my customer key is 1 and customer key is 2. Customer number is this one remains same, but with this we are able to, with the combination of these two, 100, 200, right? This is related to Marimuthu. The combination of these two we can make out Marimuthu. But here we have another column called flag. So here, since he has moved to the new location, the previous location will be flagged as N. The current location will be flagged as Y. Active. Currently, this is what the active address. For example, here it is Bangalore and Bommanahalli or something like that. Halli, right? So this is the current address is your active one. So here we are maintaining 2 records. For the same person, we are maintaining 2 address here. 2 records, but of these 2 record, one active, one record is inactive, other record is, this is called your type 2. In the case of type 1, let's say you are doing a grocery business, you don't care about the customer, all the things, okay? In that case, what you do, simply you maintain only one record, okay? You will not have flag and all, simply overwrite his address, that's all. Whenever you go and buy something, sir, tell me your contact number, address, they will modify it, that's it. They don't need the history. But whereas there are cases, in the case of bank, they need to know the history. Currently where he stayed and previously where he stayed. Previous address, we don't need it, make it inactive, but still the record will be there. So this is called your type 2, slowly changing dimension. These dimensions also will undergo changes. Usually the dimension tables will not undergo changes frequently. Rarely it will have like this. And the other one is type 3. In the case of type 3, what will happen is we don't maintain multiple records like this. What we do is we will have a single record. Here what we will do is we will specify the previous address here itself. Same record, but the previous address and current address would be there. The current address, you can see it from here. Sorry. Only one record will be there. For this guy, so for him, this is the previous address, this is the current address. SDJ, That is his current address. So you need to tell them in the case of type 3, we maintain the previous value and current value. The another classic is price dimension. You remember in the case of Cyber Monday or Black Friday or any in India, Diwali festival, the prices are keep changing in order to sustain the momentum, right? Or to gain a competitive advantage over rivalry companies, you need to keep the prices in a more optimal way, right? Only then your customer will come and buy it. So in that case, what we do is in which period, what price this product we sold it. For example, I bought Philips electric shaver. Electric shaver, the offer time, the price is something, and before offer, the price is different. We wanted to know what is the price during the offer period and before offer period, what is the price. We need to know these two things. Only when you maintain the history like this, in that kind of situation, you will be maintaining. But again, they need, there are some projects where we work little complex, more than 2 versions they needed. The previous address, prior to previous address, and current address. 3 versions. I don't want to complicate this one. For example, you can tell them slowly changing dimensions. So even in the customer dimension and location dimension, we have to load the data. As part of ETL, we will be loading the data in customer dimension, location dimension, and all. Okay, so in the dimension table also, there are 3 types of 4 types. Forget about the 4th one. Usually type 1, type 2, type 3. Type 1, we simply override the current address or price. Okay, in type 2, we maintain a version. So this is the older version, the new version. And type 3, we have previous and current column separately will be there. Got it? Type 1, type 2, type 3. So this is called slowly changing. Don't panic. It's very simple one. ETL part. ETL, before we create any report, we do the data pre-processing. That is what, transformation. The ETL is extracting the data from your SQL or something like that. Okay, remember this. And okay, the next one is, now you learned how to create a stored procedure. Next one is quickly we'll take a look at the function, stored function. Yeah, trigger is very important. 1 second, I'll just show you with some trigger. See how to rename a stored procedure. You can do it this way: SP rename space the previous name of your stored procedure and then the new procedure. So this is what the new name I want to give it. You can specify like this. Okay, if you want to draw procedure, you can do it like this. So but you need to spell dbo dot procedure name. Okay, the next one is trigger. Okay, here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table called audit test. As part of ETL, we'll be doing this one also. The interview, they'll ask you what is a trigger. Triggers are something like, it is an automated to automate the as and when any event occurs, automatically capture those events and then store it in a table, separate table. Okay, for example, in the case of ETL thing, I just show you this one. So this is your dim customer table, dim location table. What you need to do is you need to take the data from your source system and then load the data into dim customer and dim location. Whenever any new customer comes in, right, and then location, when we are going to expand our business into new location, so those kind of new records, you need to insert it here. You need to insert into these 2 tables. These 2 tables are available in data warehouse. The data warehouse, we have dimension fact table. Let's say in this case, customer and location. Okay, here what we're doing in the source system, in the e-commerce website where it stores the data, right? From there, what we do is, okay, this customer, new customer, load it here. This customer is a new customer. Okay, and what we do is before we load the customer in this table, we check whether this customer is already there or not. If the customer is not there, then is a new customer. Okay, if the customer is already there, but whether address got changed, we need to check that address got changed. What we do is we flag the column flag, value as n for the current address, and then you need to insert it. Insert the same customer address along with the customer name. You need to insert it, like I explained you, right? CD type 2. So 2 versions is previous address, current address. Before you load the data, You need to check whether the customer is already existing. Okay, the address is the same as the current address. No, then you shifted somewhere else. What you do is, in that case, for the same customer, you maintain two records. The first record, the previous record, you make it as N, and the new record, you can make it as Y. In the interview, they'll ask you, so what tables that you loaded? So we have loaded the dimension. So in our jobs, ETL jobs, will load the data from source system to our data warehouse dimension tables. And whenever any new customers comes in, it'll go and insert it. But before inserting it, it'll do a lookup in this table and then check whether the customer is already available. If it is there, and then it will go and check the address details. The address details are different, then it will maintain a version, and then it will flag the previous address location of the customer as N, and then this active one. The new address for the same customer will be Y. So we load the data into dimension customer table, and the dimension location table, and date table occasionally we load it, and fact table on a daily basis we load it. Okay. First unit, in that case, you have a fact table, sales fact table. You need to prioritize which tables should load first. All the dimension tables should load first, 1, 2, 3, and then only your fact table should get loaded. So in this order, we load the data. In this sequence, we load the data. You cannot directly load the data in sales fact. You remember I explained about referential integrity, right? So in the whatever the customer ID is there, the same customer ID should be there here. Okay, you cannot insert some new customer key here. It will cause some referential integrity related issues. I explained you foreign key, right? So they create foreign key and primary key between these two tables also. But it will slow down the performance. What they do is they disable it before load the data. After the data gets loaded, they enable it. All these informations are very important. You talk to your employer. See how many nights we stayed awake, how much struggles we made it, right? But this is all the experience, like Elon Musk, he says, 10-year experience, I transferred it in a matter of 1 hour. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm just saying. But at the end of the day, you should be knowing the real-time scenarios. If you talk to them, then it will be cool. Clearing the interview is like the cakewalk. And the next one is create trigger on employee table. Look here, what I'm going to do is I just create. So now let us try to understand whenever any new event comes in, any event happens, the data will get automatically loaded. You don't have to execute the procedure manually. The trigger is also kind of a procedure. This is a syntax, create trigger, trigger name. On which table you want to create, employee table. And in what, why it should trigger. This job should trigger. Okay. On which table? Employee table. For what purpose? Insert. Whenever the customer insert any new record, for that you put some entry in this table. This is kind of a journal. How many of you accounts background? Journal entry, something, right? So to refer it back. So what is happening? When this record got loaded here, when we deleted the record, you can specify, insert, update, delete also. So what happens is, whenever the customer, like us, right, the end users, we just go and enter the data into employee table. That too, we do it through browser. We just enter, let's say you joined with a new company, you specify employee ID, employee name, all the things, and you store it. What happens is, behind the scene, this trigger will wake up. It's something like a CCTV, okay? It will wake up, and what it does is, when the data get inserted in the employee table, this one will get triggered. Which one? This trigger will get triggered. And what it does is, this trigger, it will go and insert a record into a table called employee audit test. Hey, this guy inserted in so and so time this record. It's already an object, okay? Yes. So now what I do is, I just go and insert a record into my employee table. Let's see what happens here. So what I'm going to do is, in this case, I just say I'm going to insert a dummy for the sake of employee ID 16 Peter, and is a male, and I just say execute. Yes, one row got. Look here, I insert only one row. According to me, I insert only one row. since I created a trigger by the name of tr insert employee on this table, this one will get triggered as soon as this event happens. Insert, update, the same thing that will update, delete also. But for that, you need to specify or delete or update when you need to specify explicitly. So now let us go and check in the audit table whether it put any entry for this newly entered record Peter. This basically capture the date, time, what time. Look here, new employee ID equal to 16 is added December 22, 2021, something like that. Right? Something like monitor. You have Watchdog monitor in the app, right? Play Store. If you go, a lot of things are there. You can even crack WhatsApp also, right? So likewise, a lot of things are available. Okay, and is added. So likewise, right? So the trigger behind the scene it will run. It's kind of a watchdog. So what happens is here we implemented log insert into employee in this audit table. So whenever the user insert, according to us, we are inserting the data into only this one. Behind the scene, what happens? See here we are automated it, right? All you have to do, we just inserted it. That's all. But we don't know what is happening behind the scene. So in this case, what happened? That this one will get triggered and we'll insert a record in the audit test table, and then this is very helpful. So with this we can track what time, what activity happened, right? Got it? So inside, so they'll ask you, have you created triggers? What is a trigger? Trigger is also synonymous to stored procedure, but we don't have to explicitly execute the trigger. Once you create trigger on a table, this one will get triggered as and when any event happens against the table. Hope you are able to understand, right? Create or alter function. This is your function name. Next one is stored function. You remember in the Power Core editor, we create a custom function. You remember? So why we need to create function? What is the difference between function and storage procedure? The simple thing is function will return a value. It has to return a value. Whereas in the case stored procedure, it need not to return a value. Remember, I created stored procedure. In the body, I put select 3 columns from table. That's all. I did not return anywhere. Simply the query get executed, the output will get displayed. That's all. But in the case of function, we use a return statement. We need to return. We have to return a value. Look, so the syntax for the create or alter function name, inside the parenthesis you need to specify the parameter name, followed by you need to specify data type, and then what is the return value of this function. What data type will be returned by this function. The returns float. Okay, so this all syntax in the begin end, like a stored procedure. Even this function, so we'll have to specify your body inside the begin and end. So here declare, this is a variable. So how many of you are aware of the C language? So these are the variables I'm going to use here. Select at average sal. So this variable equal to average salary. So they find out the average salary of any employee belong to any department and store it in this variable and then return that value. What it says is, once you create this function, if you want to find out any employee's average salary, any employee belong to any department, you want to find out their average salary, you can find out. These are the starting point, but in real time, very complex things will be there. But first you practice this. I will give you some assignments you can start work on. Look here. Okay, now the question is, we created the stored function. How do I execute this one? Select, you need to use the select function. Get average salary. Department ID is 1. Get average salary and second. Yeah, get average DBO dot. This is one painful thing. DBO or something like department. If you give like this, see, I want to see the employee ID here, department ID. What is the average salary of department 3. Look here. Department 3 average salary. So you don't have to write, select query, all the, group by everything. You don't have to simply call the procedure name and pass the value, which department you wanted to. It's very simple, right? Reusability. Create once and use it as many times as possible. Okay, that is what stored procedure and stored function. And the advantage is, yes, reusability. So they'll ask you how many reusability you create a function. Tell me why you create a function, stored function, but at least understand what is stored function, all the things. So anything, I explained to you what is, how do you define a variable, and add for, the variable name should be prefixed with that, and followed by you need to specify data type and equal to 0. You can, declare the variable and all. Okay. That's all very simple, man. So you learned about the correlated subquery and non-correlated subquery, scalar subquery and multi-row subquery. In today's session, we looked at it, and then we have discussed about the update, different update statement, all the things, right? And stored procedure and stored function and trigger also we discussed. And also we discussed the ETL concept, the important concepts like the dimensions, a type of dimensions, slowly changing dimensions, like type 1, type 2, type 3. That's all. We are done with this. I thought of covering the Power BI interview questions today. So what we'll do is we'll carry forward on this Tuesday. Tuesday, we are going to wrap up the training program. I will try to close all the loose ends on this upcoming Tuesday. And then what we will do is we will look at the scenario-based questions on this Tuesday. Don't miss out. And Tuesday is going to be the last session. And I'll give you the assignments project. Sakshi, were asking project, right? We'll explain you the project, okay? So that in the interview, you can talk more confidently. Like the common business logic. If you want to use a business logic in a common place, right? We'll be using it. Like I said, see, Abhinaya, what was that? Abhinaya's question was, when I have to use stored procedure? When will I have to use stored function? You can ask that also. I extended your question, okay? Anything which is common, like I mentioned, for example, you want to compute the average salary, right? Average salary or net salary. So in the stored procedure, you put also in the real world, right? And then if you go to the office, for bigger enterprises, they have a lot of things, basic HRA, a lot of things, right? Earnings and minus deductions, you do it. The formulas, you put it there. Common logic, wherever you want to. You remember in the custom function, I showed you one demo, right? So anyhow, not a problem. You just watch my custom function, okay, when to use that one. So what will happen, for example, I'll make it now itself, okay. For example, in TCS, 5.5 lakh employees are working on an average, okay. Each and every employee, do think if I compute the net salary every month manually, will it be, will it be a correct way of doing it? Does it sounds good? No, right? So we have computer, we have software, everything. So that's where we use the stored procedure or the stored function. And what it is, we implement all the logic. Simply, you call the stored function for each and every employee's record. It only thing is you need to tell which column is having basic HRA information. So pass those values to your stored procedure or function. It will automatically compute the net salary for each and every employee. That's it. Even if you have 5 lakh employees, it will compute the net salary for every, for the entire 5 lakh employees in a matter of jiffy nowadays, because we have cloud everything, right? So even in the case of insurance claim, or how much claim a customer is eligible, all the things, they have some formulas, everything, we implement it and then we compare. In that kind of situation, we'll be using it. And yeah, importantly, adventure works. She was asking adventure works, Soumya. And here, google.com. Click on it here and then simply type adventure works. See, I'll tell you one thing. If you have any doubt, ask Google. Okay. I used to tell my relatives. Even I surprised when they, give some answers to me. They say, you taught us, right? Ask Google. So go and type AdventureWorks, download AdventureWorks, and then you just either you can use the data warehouse. Okay, you can click on this one, download it. That's it. It'll get downloaded. And open your SQL server. Look here. Where is that? Is oh my god, I closed it. SSMS is already 10:45. Even for me, it is getting late. Anyhow, it's okay. Another 10 minutes I can spend. The interview, yes, you don't have experience how to handle the situation. See, more than you don't think everybody knows everything. Even the interviewer, when I asked some cross question, he got stuck up. Okay, and he was asking how do you use merge and all the things. I asked him, are you asking about the upsert statement or join? And we have only left join, right join, anti join. When I started talking about anti join, he was he went blank completely. But it will take some time. Don't think. See, if you wanted to outnumber me, it is possible. When it comes to technology, every once in 6 months, new things are coming up. Don't think, but we know we have domain knowledge and technical background. Even if you get stuck, we'll be able to troubleshoot and fix it. But end of the day, when the customer gives you the assignment, when they explain you the the requirements, that is where you will face a lot of problem, especially when you join as a lead data analyst and all, right? They'll ask, their accent is very difficult to understand. Who the UK people and USA also the same thing, because in USA, look here, I just clicked on new database. Different country people are there. Russian is there and Japanese is there. Difficult to understand. Initially, even I posed a lot of the problem. Almost 10 years back when I went there, I just Walmart. Okay, let's say I have something called SCA2, something like SCA2. This is my database name. You can create the database like this. You are saying some database issue and all, right? Okay, forget about that one. To the point. Restore database. Click on the restore database and click on the device. And look here. Here I have downloaded that file. That file you need to copy paste it into your where the backup folder of your Microsoft SQL. I clicked on the device. Before that, what I do is I'll make sure that I look here. I just right click on it, copy it, and then what it is simply you go to the C. Swami, are you watching it? Program files, and then here Sri, you can also watch it. You are also with her, right? And here what we do is program files, and here Microsoft SQL Server. Yeah, Microsoft SQL Server, because you already installed it. It will be there here. And then go to the Express and MS SQL and then backup. Make sure that you till find the backup. You just click on it and copy paste it here. That's all. And then here, what is MS SQL and then backup, and then you paste it here. Since I already put it here, it's saying replace. I don't want to replace it. Simply so that's it. Once you specify that one, and if you go here and click on device and click on this one, you need to click on add here. It will automatically open the folder. Yeah, SQL Express. In this case, I just put this one here. Click on OK. That's all. So when you click on it, this one will get selected. Click on OK, and then it will get added here. Once it gets added, click on OK. In a matter of jiffy, your database is ready. Once that has been done, go to your the object explorer, and then you refresh it. The databases you will find the SC and all. Okay, here it is not there. We will ignore it. So okay, but when you refresh it, you will find. Okay, sorry, it it will be there somewhere here. DW2019, right? Something like that. So you need to expand this one and then see here your tables. And initially on the right side it will be blank. So don't worry. You click on the open new query. On the right side it will open the pane here, the query pane. Okay, this is where you can write the queries. And then what you do is, for example, I just want to view the dim account, right click on it, select top 1000 rows. And look here, the query got generated automatically. The data also, displayed here in the results thing. And then you click on messages, you can see very successful or how many number of rows it got selected within. So we are done with the SQL part, the triggers, stored function, SQL, the stored. These are the things they will ask you in the interview, and then what they will do is they will ask you, right? How do you do the fine tuning? Create index. Sorry, I forgot the create index. Let me finish it now itself. This is very important. Index, with index only you can improve the query's performance. Or else I just say here. See, my other student Tulasi, she attended an interview, and they were asking her to take up the pre-assessment in Python. And importantly, guys, you remember, companies are expecting value from us. It is not that we can go simply go to pantry and drink coffee and come back. It's not like that. When it comes to it is IT industry, it is a brainy job. It's not a no brainy job. And what see, I'm not panicking you, so I'm alerting you. That's all. Okay, and make sure that you are going outside the box. Develop the passion towards technology. Okay, and how many of you are aware of the artificial intelligence? With artificial intelligence, they've done awesome thing nowadays. Okay, go and check it. Okay, see, yeah, everything we do it. The fun, everything we do it on daily. See, spend some time, keep yourself up to date with artificial intelligence. Excel, importantly, they asked her in Excel, how do you create charts? What charts is it? Simply, smartly, you should tell. You should say whatever the charts I explained to you. Yeah, we have created bar chart, pie chart. This is a very common thing, right? We have created bar chart, column chart, and radar chart. What is radar chart? Go and create histogram, and then line chart. Line chart is very common. These are things I have created in Excel. Spend some time, learn Excel also a little bit, the basic thing. Don't say, I don't know, right? Then they will think, see, for 3-year experience people in my office, the girls, they know in and out of deep learning, everything. Forget about them. Okay. Even if you take any companies, right? They know advanced Excel also. Sagar, knows advanced Excel. That is a plus point for him to get into the company. Okay. Excel, some extent, the basics. And then this one. And Python also, you can learn it. Spend time. In my website, Python videos also put it. And data set is also there, right? Start practice it. Spend time. Don't think, you wasted your time. See, age is just a number. Okay. Just think, if you think, I am 45-year-old, you will become 60-year-old guy. You just think you are very young, by mind at least, and then you set a target. 2 months, nothing is going to happen, right? Some guys said, sir, I'm 42-year-old, what can I do? I told him, see, 55-year-old guy is reporting to me, but still they are doing awesome job. Okay, they are working day and night, but they are taking tabs and they are working. Okay, but still they are doing fantastic job. Age is just a number, as long as you make up your mind. Okay, but end of the day, yes, that doesn't mean we are not growing. We are growing. Okay, so make sure that you are completing it everything on time. Achieve it everything on time. That's all, guys. No normal, no more lectures. We'll circle back this Tuesday, and I will send you the assignments. Importantly, this Sunday, if time permits, late night I said I'll send it to you. You can start work on develop passion towards technology also. Any other questions? Abhinaya, you ask a lot of questions. Any other questions? Good that I welcome everyone to ask questions. Ask questions, ask questions. Only then we can improve ourselves. Fine, since you yeah, everything is fine, sir. What about the job? Sakshi is there. She is the one asking, what is the job? Yeah, job. You don't worry about the job. If you are technically sound, if you are practicing all the things, that is enough. Okay. If you are technically sound, we don't have to run after a job. Jobs will run after you. Okay. And that is the thing. Practice it. But this January, you know what? Today morning when I took up the entry, I was asking, can you join next week? That is a plus point, guys. See, Reshma also, for her, the plus point was they asked her to join. She agreed. Okay, Monday I'll come and join, sir. This Monday she took the interview. Because of readiness, she got it. Make hay while the sun shines. And again, prepare very well. Don't go inside with empty mind. Okay. Every day status call will be there, American. First of all, understanding their accent. Most of the people, right, even though they talk good English, they found difficult. At least manager will help you. Okay, but thing is, technically you should be do it. No, you should be good, right? So reasonably you should be good, and then you can manage it. See, the Anuradha and all, right? She has 2 kids. Still, she is managing. She created a network, and then she started, practicing the internet. She talks to other developers, right? So in the industry, and WhatsApp and Telegram groups are there for Power BI and those things. SQL, go and subscribe there, and then you can see what questions they are posting it and start practicing it. Right, mingle with people, mingle with those kind of people. Okay, then you will learn a lot.